The CEO of Anthropic says that AI will eliminate half of entry-level jobs and push unemployment to 20%, but the newly released Apple research paints a different picture.
I really worry, particularly at the entry level, that the AI models are very much at the center of what an entry level human worker would do.
AI is already at the center of what a junior employee could do, and I can agree with this. If we're not concerned about quality, then I can agree that AI can be used for most junior level positions. But when I say this, I stand to gain nothing. He, however, is signaling to investors, to the stock market, and to the governments that AI will replace workers. There has been an estimated $2 trillion invested into the AI space since OpenAI released ChatGPT in November of 2022. These investors have put so much money into this space that the payoff needs to be replacement of human workers. It's not enough to just make us more efficient because, well, we've already become more efficient with AI. That's why we continue to see this hype. Because if the hype dies down, the AI bubble bursts, and so much money is lost, significantly more money than in the dot-com bubble. The dot-com bubble saw an estimated $400 billion invested over a 6-year period. AI infrastructure spending for 2025 alone is an estimated $320 billion. This is a completely different breed of bubble. If efficiency is not what these investors are after, if it really is about replacement, then these AI CEOs have to come on here and continue hyping up the AI. And I think that's what he's doing here. He's basically signaling to the public and to other companies that his product, as of now, is good enough to replace a junior worker, and therefore you should use his product. He's framing it as if he's warning us, but it's really just promotion for his product because fear sells.
And these technology changes have happened before, but I think what is striking to me about this AI boom is that it's bigger and it's broader and it's moving faster than anything has before. And
again, I can agree that this is a lot broader. I often see people making the argument that this is similar to the invention of tractors and how that affected farmers, or when Ford started doing automation. But AI is affecting various roles in almost all industries. And I recognize that people are losing their jobs to AI right now. Regardless if AI can perform on a junior employee level, these companies have to push the narrative that they can. Other companies are buying into it and laying off their workforce. Take Microsoft as an example. They recently said that 30% of their code is now AI generated, and they just recently laid off 6,000 employees, notably most of those employees being managers. Microsoft has to lay off people. They have to make these bold claims because they have to sell their own product. Microsoft is selling Copilot subscriptions to corporations, and if Microsoft itself has a ton of engineers, then how good is their Copilot? If Microsoft is not able to use its own AI Copilot to scale back the amount of engineers it has, then how can they sell this to other enterprise-level companies? Why would these companies want to buy their product? It's similar to the startup Lovable. They claim to be the last piece of software, and they claim to allow ordinary people to build their own software. They are based in Stockholm, and I am as well, and Stockholm is a small community of engineers. We talk. So I hear about all of the software engineers being hired at Lovable. If your AI platform is that good, why do you still need to hire software engineers?
You know this better than anybody, or as well as all the names we know, people, Sam Altman and others who are working, Elon Musk and AI. Why are you raising the alarm? Because it's not necessarily, I would think, in your best interest, because a lot of the messages we hear from, some AI CEOs and stuff is a little bit more calming, like, these agents are going to be great in your life, a fantastic thing.
It's interesting that the interviewer thinks he doesn't stand to gain anything from this interview. The first obvious thing he stands to gain is potential market share. If a person subscribed to ChatGPT watches this and feels that Claude is a better model, or just that this CEO is more trustworthy, then maybe they switch from ChatGPT to Claude. The other thing I've been considering is how does this position him in public opinion? Because as the interviewer said, Sam Altman, Elon Musk, when they're interviewed, they focus on mainly the positives that we will see in society thanks to AI. But here we have Dario sounding the alarms that there's going to be this hypothetical bloodbath and that the governments need to respond. But if we think about it, Elon Musk has alienated himself due to politics. The sentiment online about Sam Altman is that, well, a lot of people say he's soulless. in which when I watch him, I just don't get this like trustworthy feeling from him. And then you have people like Palantir's CEO, who every time I listen to him, he's just going off the rails about something. I think this positions Dario as a white knight, that he went against his own self-interest because no other CEO had the guts to do it, and for that reason we should be thankful, we should trust him. It feels like a bit of a savior complex with ulterior motives. I think he's examined what the other AI CEOs are doing, and he's just choosing to do the complete opposite in a way that's still strategic for him and his company, but in a way that positions him as an authority figure and someone that the public can trust.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason I'm raising the alarm is that I think others haven't as much, and I think someone needs to say it.
I am very skeptic of this entire interview because the timing is all a bit suspicious. Anthropic recently announced Claude Opus 4 and Claude Sonnet 4, pretty much right before this interview. We also recently saw that the CEO of Klarna announced that they would no longer be AI first and would be hiring humans again because the AI approach led to lower quality. An IBM survey reveals this is a common occurrence for AI use in business, where just 1 in 4 projects delivers the return it promised, and even fewer are scaled up. We also saw the recent scandal with Builder AI. If you're not familiar, it was a London-based startup that claimed to essentially build software using AI. Their AI, Natasha, would ask you questions and present you with a full-fledged software application. However, their AI turned out to be actually Indians. Apparently, the startup was employing more than 700 software engineers in India, which is honestly quite impressive. These software engineers must have been using AI because I just don't know how they were able to have that quick of a turnaround time without using some type of AI. So honestly, I'm impressed. Builder AI raised over $450 million and received investment from Microsoft. They recently announced that they were filing for bankruptcy and closing down, citing historic challenges and past decisions that placed significant strain on its financial position. Unfortunately for these AI CEOs, what we also saw recently was Apple releasing its research paper on large reasoning models. I will have this paper linked below because it is a long research paper. It's 30 pages, but I highly recommend you read it because it's very interesting. The title of the paper is The Illusion of Thinking: Understanding the Strengths and Limitations of Reasoning Models via the Lens of Problem Complexity. I won't go through everything in the research paper because, again, it is very long, but some key points for me is that when the AI is given a clear method to solve the problem, it doesn't use it. The AI can't follow the instructions properly to even solve the problem when given the solution algorithm. It's like giving someone a recipe and that person doing the recipe in different orders and not even checking if they're doing it properly. Another surprising thing was when the AI is presented with a more complex problem, it actually puts in less effort rather than more. To quote the paper, it says accuracy progressively declines as problem complexity increases until reaching complete collapse. We observed that reasoning models initially increase their thinking tokens proportionally with problem complexity. However, upon approaching a critical threshold, which closely corresponds to their accuracy collapse point, models counterintuitively begin to reduce their reasoning effort despite increasing problem difficulty. I think this research paper is quite interesting because it sheds light on where are we actually with large language models being able to reason. If we only listen to these AI CEOs, then we would think these models are doing a lot of thinking, a lot of reasoning. But thanks to this research paper, it shows that actually these models are reasoning less the more complex a problem becomes. So between Claude 4 being released and Klarna hiring humans again and Builder AI proving to be actually Indians, and Apple's damning research, I can only conclude that what the CEO is saying is all for free publicity.
That's right. I'm aware of my position that I'm building this technology while also expressing concerns about it. The reason I'm doing both of those things is, one, I think the benefits are massive. And, the second thing I would say is, look, there are, as you mentioned, 6 or 7 companies in the US building this technology, right? If we stop doing it tomorrow, the rest would continue.
If I stopped doing it, well, then other people would still do it. This is like when investigative journalists interview dealers and ask them, don't you feel bad about what you're doing? And the dealers are always like, yes, but if I didn't deal, someone else would. If Dario truly believes that what he's building will be a bloodbath, as he says, then where are his morals?
If all of us somehow stopped doing it tomorrow, then China would just beat us. And I don't think China winning this in this technology is, I don't think that helps anyone or makes the situation any better.
Wasn't that the same argument that the researchers who built the hydrogen bomb used? Like if they stopped building, then Russia would win?
Everyone I've talked to has said this technological change looks different. It looks faster. It looks harder to adapt to. It's broader. The pace of progress keeps catching people off guard.
If we think about it from what these AI CEOs have been hyping and trying to sell everyone on, then I would make the argument that it's underwhelming, like it's underperforming. It's not living up to the hype that they keep promising. But I would say that's now why we're seeing this fear mongering. It's like the next evolution of hype.
What are practical steps people should take to be prepared? I mean, ordinary citizens, me, what do you advise?
For ordinary citizens, I think it's very important, learn to use AI, learn to understand where the technology is going. If you're not blindsided, you have a much better chance of adapting. There's some better world, at least in the short term, at least for now, we should take it bit by bit. Everyone learns to use AI better, and that speeds up the adaptation.
He's basically coming on here, fear-mongering, offering no real solutions, painting a picture that's very bleak and making people have this like AI doom. That's part of the reason why I wanted to make this video, because when I read the comments, people are really upset by this video and they don't know what to do. So I wanted to come on here and offer a different perspective, to be skeptical of what he is saying, how he benefits from what he's saying. So when asked for a solution, he essentially says people should learn more about AI, become more familiar with the tools. Do you happen to have an AI tool that I can learn about? Do you happen to have an AI tool that I can use, that I can buy a subscription to? Like, he's literally pitching people the solution to the problem that he's creating. It's interesting that he says, if you're not blindsided, you have a much better chance of adapting. There's some better world, at least in the short term, at least for now. Like, he's really pushing this apocalyptic bloodbath, as he put it, like this narrative of fear-mongering and scaring people. And the only solution that he is offering is for people to use AI tools that he just so happens to sell. And maybe he's right. Maybe me and many other engineers are wrong. Maybe artificial general intelligence is on the horizon. But as of right now, I don't see it. And again, I recognize people are being laid off, but my argument to that is these companies have to lay them off. They have to buy into the hype, because so much money has been put into this space. It's almost becoming like the banking industry, where it's too big to fail. And again, this puts him in a position of power, a position of authority, a trustworthy figure in the space that people can lean on and trust his guidance on. So again, this all just benefits him. It's just a one massive sales pitch that just so happens to be pitching fear rather than positivity, as the other AI CEOs have been doing. Before you buy into the AI hype or the AI doom, question the source, question the motive. Thanks for spending part of your day with me. I will see you in the next one. Have a great day.